Alright, can you still see this?
And your stream ended, but if you're
Oh, I
using
switched.
OBS,
No, I switched windows.
okay,
Yeah, no, I want you to see it in live time. OBS is just for
okay,
recording purposes.
all right, now I can see it.
Perfecto. Alright. Alright, let's go with least preferable. Which of these? Let's go. Actually, what do you think? Do you think we should go least to most or most to least? What do you think?
I think we should rank them as they come. So,
Oh, you're right.
like,
You're right. No, you're right.
overpopulation is our first one.
Yeah.
I'd
That
say
would suck. That would suck.
that would be pretty awful.
Yeah, that would suck. Yeah, that would be pretty bad. All right, so I'm gonna assume that D is absolutely awful. Don't want to live through D. Fuck this. And then this would be eh.
And B can be meh.
Meh.
Because it's in the middle of the road.
Yeah, there you go. Wait, let me see. So what would eh? Less eh, more meh, and less meh, more ugh. There we go. That's good. Alright.
That works.
Alright, overpopulation's pretty bad, dude. That's pretty bad. It would also be slow, you know, like it wouldn't happen fast, like you wouldn't like you wouldn't die fast. It could take a while.
Well, we're of like minds, I think, on how we determine how preferable something is. Like, do we want this to be long and dragged out, or do we want this to be short and sweet?
Yeah, that would. I think overpopulation would just be awful.
I would argue we're in the middle of an overpopulation crisis right now. So we're in the process of actually dying out due to overpopulation. It's just not to the point yet where it's started to interfere with our daily lives here, but it's becoming a problem in other parts of the world.
I'm gonna guess this would be pretty bad. I mean, I don't know if this is the worst, but I think it at least needs to go here.
I'd be tempted to put it in the less meh, more ugh also, because overpopulation may correct itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Once enough people die out.
Yeah, yeah. It's not the worst. Alright, this one I don't think is that bad. I'm assuming I mean, this is assuming that I'm dying. I think we're assuming that we're dying quickly from this.
Well, unfortunately.
I know, but well, that's
I don't think we. I mean, so.
I don't know.
Here's my morbid thinking. If I knew an asteroid was coming, I would want to make sure that I'm in the landing zone. Because that would guarantee I get vaporized, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to live with the winter fallout that happens for the 500 years after it.
Yeah, like if you live on the other side of the planet, it's gonna suck too. Yeah.
So I think it's better in that you have a possibility of dying immediately or within very close proximity to the event, but you're more likely to be fucked over by just being in the cold for however long. I'd maybe put that in like meh or less more meh. I'm
going with meh. I still think it would suck, but like I don't think it would be as bad as overpopulation.
I would definitely say it's better than overpopulation.
Alright, biological warfare would, I think, just suck.
That would be horrible, unless...
unless it was fast. Sure, but I just think overall this would be pretty awful.
Well, and the idea that we did it to ourselves would kind of put that in the fuck this category too.
Yeah, I agree. And then chemical warfare, I think maybe even worse than biological warfare, I'm not sure. But they're both pretty bad.
I think biological would be worse because it has the potential to really drag out for you basically live your entire life being miserable from the effects of biological warfare chemicals.
Oh, that's true.
That fucks with your body, and maybe you're in pain for a month, maybe a year. But
I mean, you can still die quickly. Like
biological warfare could be something as simple as, remember that drink that we gave you when you were a baby? Yeah, that sterilized you. Congratulations, you can't have children.
Yeah, but that one falls into the infertility one now. Yeah.
But biological, well, so how I determine the two is biological warfare is a very deliberate act,
Yeah, of course.
whereas like the infertility problem is kind of a problem that we created and we didn't maliciously do
Mm,
it. It's just a problem that we've
yeah.
caused.
Yeah. I think both of these suck.
I agree.
Um,
But if I had to pick one over the other, I'd probably pick chemical warfare over biological. That's
okay,
just my
so
opinion.
chemical is lower on the fuck this. Or,
Well, I guess it depends. So, like, is the
no,
thing
sorry,
at the
sorry.
very,
Higher, it's higher.
yeah.
My bad. I meant higher on fuck this, which means it's not as bad. Uh, alright. Climate change. Um, I mean, we're already kind of in that one, not severely, but um,
It depends on how you determined to read the oh, what was it? That was just published in like August. There's like a conference of 190 countries of climate scientists that basically said we're in the middle of 5 scenarios that we can choose to go in right now. Two of them we can maybe come out the other side. Two we're definitely fucked, and one of them humanity will be wiped out.
that's great. Yeah, but like living through it, I feel like it's not that bad. I mean, it's bad, but
I mean, for the part that we're in right now, it doesn't seem so bad, right?
also like as an individual, like I feel like it's not as bad as some of these other ones.
Unless you think about, well, how many people died from flooding last year, how
Well,
many
yeah,
people
but
lost property from fire last year, and how much of that can you reasonably connect to, well, the climate has shifted and you're having these more arid areas here and these more uh, water laden areas here.
I mean, yeah. I mean, from our point of view as privileged people, I think this is not that bad. And I know
Yeah,
I know I'm biased obviously, but I don't have any other perspective. Like,
I mean, I'd put it in meh or
yeah, I'd probably put it in meh or less personally. But what do you think about this? Or where would you put it?
well, it's going to take a lot. Well, it's taken a long time for us to kill ourselves with it.
Yeah, I
Would it
kind of
take
think
longer
it's
than an asteroid impact event?
I don't know.
I
Yeah, I
think
don't
it'd
know.
probably take longer.
I think was that bad or good though?
I think longer is worse,
Yeah, that's probably true. Because in any of these scenarios, you'd want it to be fast, not slow.
right?
All
Right,
right,
you're
so that
giving it
means
to your kids and your kids'
we'll
kids.
put this here. All right, I got two of these images by accident. Ecological collapse. How would that kill us exactly?
Well, if you
Um.
don't have any places for plant life to live, you
Oh
don't have
yeah.
any places for animal life to live, and then there's no way for us to live.
Yeah, it's true. And no oxygen. Um.
Well, you want to know something crazy?
Yeah.
It are I know how we say like the rainforests are like the biggest contributors to oxygen in the world.
Yeah.
It's not actually true
What's the
because
biggest?
those same rainforests are also some of the most respiratory intensive parts of the world because the plants make almost as much CO2 as they do oxygen. If you want the cleanest and most abundant form of oxygen producing that there is in the world, it's actually from the smallest organisms in the world. It's phytoplankton.
That's crazy.
That phytoplankton is what made our atmosphere so laden with oxygen that we could start having aerobic forms of life on it. That's crazy to think about how small they are,
Yeah,
but
it
they
is.
changed our atmosphere to be the well, it was more oxygen then, it's less oxygen now, but
Of course. Yeah.
that it was able to change that from some of the stuff like CO2, SO2, NO2, NO3, all that stuff into it's more oxygen than it is anything. Well, more oxygen than just about anything else, with the exception of nitrogen.
Whew. Um.
So basically, I could see ecological collapse as either the deliberate or
Yeah.
evolutionarily induced elimination of keystone species in an ecosystem. And without those keystone species in that ecosystem, it causes the ecosystem to collapse. So, like, for example, coral reefs, if you have the reefs die out, they are the cornerstone, they are the building block of that ecosystem. If the
Yeah.
water's too warm, the
Well, how do
coral reefs
we?
bleach and die out, and then there's nothing that can live in those reefs anymore.
Yeah, but how do we? Hmm. I actually. Whoops. Ah, fuck.
Oh no.
That's fine. I'll remember what we. I wanted to put a description. Which is the worst to die from? Yeah. Uh. Oh yeah, cool. It saved
Okay, it saved them.
it. But how will we die from this though? That's the question I'm trying to answer.
Well, it's a very slow process, because then once
Hmm.
species start dying out and ecosystems
We'd
start
probably have
dying
like,
out,
yeah,
then the ways that we get our food or the ways
yeah.
that we exploit a location for its resources becomes impacted. So it would be a very long and protracted way to.
I feel like social collapse would happen too, right? Like you'd have tons of other you know what I mean? Like,
How would the animals respond? Does that mean we
nah,
see more indications of animals in human
no. I just mean
territory,
like,
or?
well, I mean like, because we're talking about how would this be bad for us, right? Like,
True.
so what I'm saying is, I feel like as we lose access to food and all this shit, and you know, like all these things become more scarce, including oxygen. Like I feel like you'd have tons of social problems, and I'm just saying I think it would be kind of shit. Is all I'm trying to say. I would put it here.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
All right, cool. All right, EMP. Uh,
I'm a little biased.
what do you
This is
think?
my least favorite,
So you'd
and
put it
here's
you'd put
why.
it pretty far. Okay.
Here's why.
All right, I'm ready.
Can you honestly say that you could live without an electronic device for more than 24 hours?
I mean, I don't know. Probably not.
A week? A month?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it would.
A
That would
year?
suck. Yeah.
Basically, we would be blasted back to the 18th century.
Yep.
And think about how much of our recorded history and how much of our data and information we
I
store
know.
digitally that would be instantly inaccessible.
I know.
And no one retains information anymore,
Nope.
or at least not the way that we used to before we had computers.
Libraries would be
So
back in business.
all the things that we know how to do would be lost in an instant.
I mean, not
And once
everything.
the
Like
people
we
who
have.
know the
Yeah.
and it all have to be passed down by
I
like
know.
books or by
Yeah.
trade, right?
Yeah.
And that only goes so far. So
It would.
that would set us back a very long
Yeah,
time.
that's a good point. Yeah.
And that, in my opinion, would, like, if that happens, like, okay, well, you might as well have EMP'd my heart, because I don't want to live anymore.
So you'd put this pretty low. You'd put this
I
pretty.
I would put it very low. Yes, I
Okay.
would put it at the bottom. But
This is
this isn't a democracy. This is
Yeah. Well,
a biocracy.
there you go. Yeah. Double. I'm gonna put it in fuck this. Uh, for now we'll put it here since I'm not really sure where I'd put it personally yet.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
gonna
have a
put it
better idea
here.
once everything else is up there. I think it'll be
Exactly.
easier to rank them.
Yeah.
This is just kind of giving us a ballpark.
Exactly. All right. Next is AI. Taking over the world. It's like Terminator. Um, I mean this would suck, but I don't think it would be that bad.
Well, it's even more subtle than that. It doesn't have to be like, oh, the Skynet has launched all the nukes and blown us up.
Yeah.
It
Exactly.
could be, oh, hey, you don't really need to do anything anymore because we
Yep.
can do all this for you and we do it so much more efficiently than you do. Why don't you just like sit there and get fat and look like those people from Wally?
Yes. Yeah, so I think it goes in N, personally. Because I don't think it would happen quickly, and I don't even think it would be agonizing.
It depends on if they want to wipe us out or not. Says to like, well, if they wanted to wipe us out, to my point earlier, they would probably be really efficient with it.
I'm putting it in M, man. It's, to me,
Eh,
there's all pros for this compared to some of these other ones.
I for one welcome our overlords.
AI overlords, dude, yeah. Alright, gamma ray burst would suck.
I
Um,
think that would be
but
the best way to go.
wait, what
And
happens
here's why I think
exactly?
that. So basically, like a supernova or a hypernova happens from light years away, and it all gets concentrated in like a concentrated beam. So
Yeah,
think of like a laser beam, okay? Except it's the energy of something many times that of the sun,
of course,
all of
yeah.
it converted into pure energy and directed right at your planet.
Wouldn't we just die really, like instantly, like really fast?
Well, if you were on the side of the planet that got hit by the gamma ray burst, you would probably liquefy.
Yeah, it doesn't sound that bad. It sounds pretty fast.
And it would ionize the atmosphere. So that would pretty much ignite the atmosphere. So whatever's on the other side of the planet would get roasty toasty. And whatever survived that would have to live in pretty much a barren wasteland without any protection from cosmic radiation because it would also wipe out the magnetosphere.
Yeah,
So you'd be getting bombarded by
I
radiation.
feel like most humans would die pretty fucking fast.
Exactly. And I think that's probably the most painless way to go is like, oh, well, I got blown to atoms, or oh, I got roasted to 12,000 degrees. Or
Yeah,
it's, oh, well, I won't have to worry about dying of cancer because I'm getting cancer everywhere right now as I speak, and I'm slowly turning into, oh no,
yeah,
I can't talk.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you die very fast. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, dying of cancer would suck, especially dying of cancer in like many different ways and all your lots of organs failing. But like, it would be pretty. It wouldn't be that bad. It would be pretty good on the whole, I think.
There's
I think you're right.
there's some documentation to support the idea that the Permian extinction, which is the largest extinction event in Earth's history, may have been
Yeah.
caused by a gamma ray burst.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. Um. All right, hypercane.
What I know of
That would suck.
hypercane,
I think this would suck.
it would be it would be very violent.
Yeah. Well, also like, I feel like there'd be hella flooding. Like, I feel like if it's big enough, like the whole world would be, it would suck basically, and it would be super violent. I think it would just be pretty
I mean,
awful.
hurricanes are pretty awful on their own, but
Exactly.
think of a hurricane that never stopped.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that would be. Yeah. I'm thinking this is like here or lower.
Yeah, I'd put it at the end of the meh or ugh or at the
Okay.
top of fuck this.
All right. So we're in agreement for this one. All right. Infertility. Um, no more, no more people. Um, I mean, this would suck, but I don't think it'd be that bad.
I guess it depends on where you sit on like, because that would take a long time.
Yeah.
Like imagine, well, so if like today, the
Yeah.
person who just had children today, starting the day after,
This is the last.
all
Yeah.
pregnancies fail, no one can get pregnant anymore. You'd get to watch for the next 80 some years as every human being alive today
Well, I wouldn't.
dies
I
off and
would die
doesn't get
for it.
replaced.
Yeah, exactly. I think. I mean, that would suck, but. Huh. Damn.
I think it would be better than
Actually, it would
like
still suck because like eventually, I mean, you would have like a massive. You'd also have like a. You'd have a population problem at a certain point, like a functional population problem. Because in just 20 years, instead of having a whole another set of millions of humans or billions of humans who are like functioning adults. You now have none of them.
Right.
Um, so I don't know. It could suck actually, but I
I
don't think
think
it'd
it
be
would
super
be
bad.
I think it would be better than overpopulation
I agree.
and
I agree.
ecological collapse, because if you wanted to get out, you could get out fairly quick. It's just like, well, fuck this. We can't have children anyway, so
Yeah.
there's not going to be fighting for things due to scarcity of resources, which is
Correct.
something that overpopulation and ecological collapse would have.
I'm thinking meh, personally. Bottom of meh.
Is it worse than climate change?
Oh, that's a good question. Uh, I don't think so, man.
Is it worse than an asteroid impact?
Nah. Well, asteroid has some benefits, dude. If you're on the right side of the planet, you're dying real fast.
Infertility has its benefits too.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's just put it right next to asteroid. We can.
It's a toss up.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. But like,
In both events, you're having a population, like a steep decline in population.
correct. Yeah, which has its benefits. But I think the asteroid has clear
That's going to
cosmological.
have a big drop at the beginning instead of infertility, which is going to be kind of like an exponential,
Yeah.
like an upside
Exactly.
down exponential growth curve.
That's exactly right. No more oil. I feel like this would be pretty bad because I feel like this is social collapse basically with like with our like energy infrastructure just not working, and
Yeah,
I think
I
this
would
would be
say
pretty
that's
bad.
pretty awful.
Yeah, I think it's probably in the fuck this realm.
I would agree it's in the fuck this realm, specifically where
I don't even know.
I'm open to suggestions.
I'm kind of thinking here. I don't know though. It's a
I
toss
mean,
up a little bit, but
so here's something to consider.
all right.
So like chemical warfare, biological warfare, electromagnetic pulse, that shit can be done by like a few crazy people, right? But
Yeah, it's true.
world loss of petroleum has been a dedicated effort by a very select group of people that represent the wealthiest part of the human population, and they know that it's going to run out, and they know that it's going to fuck the world over, and they still keep
Yeah.
going with it.
Well, yeah, but how does that change does that change our placement at all, or are you
Well,
just
I think it
saying,
still belongs there. I'm trying to justify, like, is it better or is it worse than
oh
stuff
right.
that, like a
Oh,
like
that's a
an
good point.
extremist group could do. I mean, this is like institutionalized
Yeah, that's true.
neuterization of the human race.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a key difference. Um, hmm, I don't know.
Let's leave it there for now. We can always come
Yeah,
back to it.
for sure. All right, this is water. Out of water. I think this would suck, but I think running out of water would take quite a while. Uh,
Less than 100 years.
depends on how old I am when it starts. Stuff like that. I don't think it would be super bad, but
Imagine not being able to go to anywhere and order a drink. Imagine not being able to run any water for a shower or to
yeah.
flush your toilet or to run the tap or to wash your clothes. Because
Mm,
anytime you use that precious freshwater supply, that means it's a drop of water that can't go into somebody's body to
yeah.
keep them alive for another 3 days. It's awful.
Yeah, this would be
Like
pretty bad.
when you're in a disaster zone, when they have like the hurricanes go
Yeah.
through and stuff, they always
Or
bring in those
earthquakes.
big things of
Yeah.
water, because that's the number one resource that people need to get through it, because their water sources are contaminated. You can't use them for drinking. And if they didn't have those bottles of water, a lot of people would die in those
Yeah, that's
disasters.
probably true.
And imagine people going to war
Yeah,
over
totally.
water.
Yeah. Yeah. This would be pretty bad then.
I'd put it in fuck this.
Yeah, yeah. All right, nuclear. I mean, I think this would be not that bad. I mean, it would suck, but you'd either die pretty fast or relatively fast. So,
Let's put it in the less meh or less M more meh because we haven't put anything there yet.
sure, I'm down. I
I think it's
completely agree. I
I'd be
mean,
more on board with a nuclear war and nuclear disaster than infertility. I'd be more on board with that.
hmm, yeah, I mean, it's not that bad. Yeah. All right. Over harvesting. What is it? This is like running out of food and stuff, right? Like,
Well, not just that, but like any resource.
oh, all right.
So I guess
Well,
that would also include petroleum to an
yeah, it
extent.
includes other ones. So I think this is like the bottom of this one, basically
Okay,
because it's so vague. Over harvesting's like it could represent a couple other ones too. So, all right,
I feel
COVID.
that.
We got the pandemic. Similar to biological warfare, I think, but assuming it's not like deliberate. Um,
Right. But also, like, I guess it would depend on, well, if we're using COVID as an example, like if we had to have COVID be the thing that wiped us out, I wouldn't really care because
yeah, me either.
it's annoying
Yeah,
unless you're a moron who doesn't like to wear masks, or
yeah,
if you're if you're compromised in the respiration system in some way,
yeah. No,
or if
I
you're a
agree.
dinosaur and kind of need to die off
Well,
anyway.
let's assume it's like a pretty bad. Let's
But
assume
like
it's
if
like pretty painful and like not
let's
great.
say hantavirus got out of the CDC,
Yeah, that'd
that would
be.
suck.
I'm thinking it would be fuck this. I think. I mean, I think it'd be
I could
pretty
see it
bad.
going in there, but if I
Maybe,
did, I'd
maybe
put it pretty
less.
high.
Yeah, like, oh, whoops. Like, yeah, probably like here, maybe.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think it's worse if the cause of the accident has to do with something we did.
Yeah, I
And so, like
agree.
all the other stuff on that fuck this category, that's all shit
Yeah,
we would do.
yeah, yeah. Well,
At least that's
yeah, there you
nature's
go.
way of eliminating the fever.
Yeah,
Is
exactly.
humans are too big of a problem. Oops, I just mutated hantavirus into like 100% lethality and 100%
Mm-hmm.
what's the word I'm looking for?
I know what you're talking about.
Transmissibility.
Yeah, yeah. All right, this is solar geoengineering. What is this? This is like we try to reverse climate change by reflecting back the sun or something stupid, and
Yep.
then we kill ourselves. All right. Well, this doesn't sound like it would happen very fast. It sounds like it would probably still suck. Wait, what's the problem? How would it work again? Hold
That was the only one on the list where I was kind of like, what?
on. How would solar engineering be bad? It would not directly reduce CO2. Excessive, poorly distributed, sudden, or sustained termination would pose serious environmental risks. What? I'm confused. Unknown climate risks. It may be ineffective. Alright.
Okay, basically, this is saying this is a solution for global warming, but because we don't understand it very well yet, it could be really risky to do.
I'm just gonna put it in this.
Yeah,
Like next to climate change. I don't know what to do with it. Starvation. I mean, this is pretty similar to like the other ones, I think.
yeah, that's right there with water for me.
Yeah, that would be pretty
So it
bad.
may be less bad because you can live longer without food.
Yeah. Super volcano. Um. Huh. Actually, maybe we should change the description to which is the worst to live through and then die. Um. All right, super
I
volcano. What are you gonna say?
I honestly don't see much of a difference between a supervolcano and a nuclear holocaust,
Yeah, me
other
either.
than one we did to ourselves, and the other was just like, well, you got the random pick of the draw today.
Yeah, exactly. It's better than nukes, cause we didn't do it. Uh,
And you don't have the radiation fallout to live with,
yeah, it's
so that
true.
makes it better.
You might have no sun though.
I mean, you'd have no sun with a nuclear holocaust too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So it's like not that bad. All right, this last one's wealth disparity, like Elysium the movie. Hmm.
And that's pretty close to the bottom for me.
Yeah, I mean that one's similar to some of the other ones. Just yeah, it'd be pretty bad.
The spirit behind that one, as I understand it, is um, the wealthy are so wealthy that they are able to deprive resources from those without, and that causes those without to be wiped out, which in turn would wipe out the elite because the elite need the people at the bottom of the social structure in order to support their social structure.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. All right, cool.
So, do we want to reorganize? Were there any that we weren't sure
Yeah,
about their
that's true.
placement?
Um, hmm, I don't know. I think it's hard to do too much more with it. Um, hmm. I'm trying to look over them. I think we got the fuck this category pretty down.
I'd agree with that.
Less mem or ugh. Overpopulation would suck.
I would say of the four in that category, the one that would take the least amount of time to wipe out humanity would probably be hypercanes. It'd just be incredibly violent and like without cease, as opposed to the others, which are just like slow, drawn out. You're probably going to get other fuck this things factoring into it.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm thinking that, yeah, I think you're right. This needs to at least go higher on this tier, maybe even to another tier, potentially. Hmm.
Then I don't know what to do with solar geoengineering
Yeah, me
because
neither.
that seems so far fetched at this point.
Hmm.
But I think you did a very wise thing by, since it's paired with climate change anyway, maybe just keep it wherever climate change is.
Yeah, do we think that... Alright, I have a question. Do we think that Hypercane would really be worse than an asteroid?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, I think it would be, just because it's an asteroid is kind of like it hits, there's fallout,
I mean, it could still
at
take
least
a
like
while.
the immediate disaster is over.
Yeah.
With a hypercane, that's a never-ending storm. So maybe it's not in your neighborhood today,
Oh,
but
I
it's
guess that's
gonna be
true.
again someday.
What is a Hypercane? Hypothetical class. Damn. Well, is it like never ending? Or is it just like really fucking big and then it ends? I don't fucking know. Yeah, I guess you're right. It would kind of suck. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy with the placement of these. Uh, um, I think Nuke is actually in a good spot, even though we just kind of threw it there.
Yeah.
Like, um,
I mean, the ones in that category, they're flashy, they're pretty quick.
yeah, exactly. I think you're right. I think that I'm happy with the. I think that our is good too. I think that AI and gamma ray deserves the best spots.
Cook me or kill me with kindness.
Yeah, like maybe not bad. Pretty good. All right. Nice. All right, cool. We're done. I wonder if we come up with one that's not on here, we'll have to remember that. But I think this is good.
I'd be interested in brainstorming with some other smart people and see, like, have you thought of a way for the world to end
Yeah.
that you want to put on this chart?
Oh, they would love that, I'm sure. Yeah. We can definitely do that. It's always editable. Always. Let me see if I can show you our Taco Bell item tier list. I'm surprised I didn't save it. Taco Bell. Or maybe I didn't save it, did I? Can you see? No, you can't see my screen. There you go.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it took us like 3 hours to make this.
How many people were debating
Like
this?
4 or 5.
That's probably why it took three to
I
four
know. Dude, it
hours.
was so fun. Um, actually, I need to make. How come I didn't save this Taco Bell? Oh, here we go. Uh, create, save, Taco Bell. Oh, wait, what? Oh, I get it. I get it. Alright, well, let me just. Alright. Anyway. Yeah, this hasn't even completely updated either. We even ranked the sauces.
Oh jeez. I've not tried enough Taco Bell to
Yeah,
really
no
know where to
worries.
put stuff.
No worries. We're fiends. Um,
It seems like it's like a couple of times a week I hear you guys collabing on
it's a
like what do you
cult.
want to get.
Yeah, it's a cult, bro. Um, yeah, they released a new Taco Bell Pass. Taco Lovers Pass. It's $10 for a month. You get a free taco every day.
What?
Yes, sir. It's beautiful. One of my many loves, tacos. And not just Taco Bell tacos, but real tacos too. That's a whole different thing though. Yeah. All right. I'm glad we made that. That was super fun. I'm very happy with this.
It's a little sad, but it needs to be done.
Dude, what the hell are these ads? Oh my god, they're so creepy. God, that was awful. Those fucking dolls. All right.